About rust versus rest after these big gaps off. Where do you stand on that balance of what this could look like tonight? And do you have to prep your team any differently after such a long time off?
Yeah, just the youth of our team, to have this situation coming off of an Olympic break, it's new. It's so with a young team, you try to talk to them and tell them, how things are going to play out or what it's supposed to be like. There's very few veterans in that locker room who've gone through an Olympic break as well. So, I don't think after these last few weeks we have very much rust. They're ready for a game.
James.
How much different does this restart feel compared to like the start of the season where you might not know how things are kind of fitting? You know who your team is at this point, and now you're trying to make that push.
Yeah, just the speaking of the very beginning of the season, after 5 practices and we were playing, that was we were still trying to figure out who we were playing together, how we were going to play, new point guard, and so now having all of our players other than Christy Wallace for this break, we were moving in a direction that was positive in the month of July and June. So just to now have that time to really break things down and really teach and get into the details of things. We keep talking about details and making sure that we're getting into the details of things. You get so much accomplished during this time with your players.
Jacob.
I mean, you just kind of talked about it there, but you said this was new, this Olympic break. I mean, what was kind of the focus for you guys during these practices and whatnot?
Yeah, when you don't have a game to prepare for, professional athletes, they get real bored real quick. So you have to try to find a way to keep it new and exciting. I really came into it. My number one focus was just our team chemistry. We hadn't had time to really focus on that. We just kind of were thrown into the fire. So we were able to really, off the court and, just not as it relates to basketball, just get to spend some time with each other and get to know each other and to watch them compete in things other than basketball. Just some, who they are kind of came out, like they got comfortable. So I think that's so important when you're building a team with such young players.
Anybody? Christine, you want to go ahead? If we can get the mic over there.
Looking at some of those games, Coach, on Instagram and the fun kind of stuff that everyone was doing, who actually thought of those? Did you guys all kind of get together and say, hey, what are our most fun games from when we were kids or birthday parties, or how did you actually come up with some of those ideas?
Yeah, I think being a college coach, when you run college summer camps and you're trying to find things to do with those kids, but there's a lot of businesses are all about team camaraderie. Fortune 500 companies are always asking, talking. I read books about what they try to do with their team building and the way they bond new members to their teams. It's the same thing, but we sat around and just kind of brainstormed on what we've done in the past and some things that we, today you can get online and Google anything you want and find all kinds of fun things. So just try to find things that we thought would, that they would like, and anything, from playing home run derby to golf, just anything that they can compete in, they're going to get into.
Scott.
With all this time together, what were the things maybe you learned about the players, the team, something that shined through maybe through all of those lessons and fun games?
Yeah. Probably the one thing that stuck out to me, Caitlin as a rookie came in and just was, trying to figure it out. I mean, she has a really, her personality, she kind of loosened up a little bit, and you saw, she's a really funny person, quick wit. And it's fun to banter with her a little bit off the, when we're off the basketball court. Demiris Dantas was able to be around our team a lot during this practice time, and she hadn't had that with him. And so she kind of opened up, which was really awesome to see her open up with the players and get to know them and talk to them. Aaliyah Boston is always a character, so she was really fun. And then her and Caitlin are very competitive, so they were always bantering with each other.
Anybody? Matt, go ahead.
Hi, Christy. A few days ago, the Fever put out the mid-season growth numbers. Jersey sales up 1,000, ticket sales 250. For you to be here last year, also this year, and be the leader of this team, be here day in, day out, can you just kind of describe what it's like to witness that as it's unfolding?
Yeah, I think the best way to explain it was, with everything that's happened since, the start of the season, with the new fan base and the growth of the game, just in exponential numbers, it's a journey that we've all been trying to just kind of figure out. It's exciting. I mean, it's incredible to play in front of the crowds. It's exciting to hear when they came in and told me, like, in just a few minutes, like, we're selling out of, like, gear. And those things are just, I've coached in this league a really long time, 14 years. And just the things that are happening are so awesome for our sport. And what it's going to, and how it's going to keep growing is just great for these players and what they have forward to look for and things that are going to happen to them in the future because of this growth. I mean, it's just an exciting time, and I wouldn't say women's basketball, I'd say just sports in general.
First, since we learned about it at All-Star Weekend, did you do a lot of sprinting during this break?
I did sprinting when Christy made me sprint. Other than that, tried to relax a good amount, and then it was good to get back here and work on a lot of stuff that we needed to work on. And honestly, I felt like we had some really hard practices. Like, we were in here going hard for 2.5 hours a lot of the days. And at times it almost felt even more challenging than training camp was for us. So I thought it was a good period for us to work on a lot of things that we needed to work on, but also things that the coaching staff identified was areas that we were weak in the first 26 games and that we have to improve in, especially defensively going forward if we want to have a chance to win a lot of games.
Christy also mentioned that you guys kind of grew a lot closer as a team in terms of team chemistry. Do you feel that at all from this break?
Yeah, I think just having time to, like, do things outside of basketball, whether it was, set up by the team or things that we were just planning on our own. It was fun to do that and not have so much pressure on us and the basketball pressure, and you don't have to think about a game that was the day before, a game that's happening 2 days later, just to really enjoy the moment and spend time with your teammates. I think building relationships is really important, and I think that's going to help us have success through these last 14 games.
Go Scott, then we go Matt.
Ty was joking how he was kind of the mayor of All-Star Weekend. What do you kind of expect to carry that torch for next year?
Oh, gosh, no. I mean, I'll be hiding. I'm just happy I'll be able to sleep in my own bed. If I'm lucky enough to be an All-Star again, I would just not have to sleep in a hotel room, not have to travel. I think that's what I'm most excited about. But honestly, like, I'm really happy for our organization and our franchise and the city of Indianapolis. Like, I think it's a testament how they've supported us to begin the year and the first 26 games. We've had a ton of fans on the road, had a ton of fans. Every single game at home has been sold out. You can just feel the buzz and excitement. So I don't think there was a better place for the All-Star Game to go next year. I think everybody knew that. So I know they're going to do everything they can to make this All-Star the best there has ever been in WNBA history. And I don't think, I think that's something that is easily going to be accomplished because they're going to spend a lot of time and resources into making it special, not only for the athletes that are chosen to, represent their franchises, but for the city that has given so much and our fans that have given a lot. And, I'm excited even though it's a year away. I'm sure my family's already planning. Who knows? I'll be here one way or another, whether I'm there or not. I guess I live a minute away. I could walk here, so.
When the numbers come out this week about just everything going through the roof since you got here, are you numb to all that? Or does that, other than Freddie blowing up, obviously?
Yeah, Freddie did blow up.
What is that feeling like for you?
I think statistics are very interesting. I think it's one thing to, like, feel it, but when you have numbers that are, like, backing it up and, like, you see that growth from just less than a year ago even to now, it's absolutely incredible. It makes me excited about the possibility of the future. It makes me very grateful for everything that's happened. And, it's impacted a lot of people's lives, obviously not just us players, but people that work here, Freddie, whatever it is, people that work in the team shop, or, you can go on and on about everything that has kind of changed. But I think for me, it's like numbers don't lie, and it's the same as basketball. Like, numbers don't lie, film doesn't lie, and it's the same for how much growth our franchise has had over the course of the last year. So it makes me really happy. And, like, yeah, some of those stats are really funny, like hot dog sales and Freddie appearance, people wanting Freddie to come and show up at whatever it is. I mean, we might have to get more Freddies, I guess, honestly. I don't know how many. There's a mini Freddie. I like mini Freddie. Mini Freddie just shows up randomly every 10 games. It's like, you never know when he might show up, and then mini Freddie is suddenly on the court for a game. So maybe he'll be there tonight. I don't know. Who knows?
We go Matt, then we go Christine.
Hi, Caitlin. With these 3 more weeks off, how more refreshed, rested do you feel compared to the start of the season where you had the 3 weeks to prepare after the draft?
Yeah, I definitely feel more fresh and prepared and whatever it is, but I think, still understanding that this league is very difficult and kind of getting back into the routine of things. I mean, I felt like we were playing good basketball right before the break, and especially myself, I felt like I was starting to get in a groove, so it was like kind of a weird thing of like I wanted to kind of keep playing. Like I felt like we were kind of find our flow together, and me myself, and then you go on a month-long break and it's like, you don't get to play for a month. So I think there's definitely a balance of it, and I feel like we've been itching to get back out on the court, especially over the course of the last week. It's like we've been ready for it, and now you guys got to come out and show the work that you've put in. And, some games are going to be great, some games aren't going to be great. That's just how this league works. It's going to be taking it one game at a time, and I thought that's what we did really well there over the course of the last 2 weeks before the break is like we were only going one game at a time, and I think that helped us have more success, honestly.
Go Christine, then finish with James.
Caitlin, 2 questions. One, when was the last time you didn't play a game for a month? Was it a year ago going into the Kinnick?
Probably, yeah. So we had our foreign trip that summer too, so probably in that area, yeah.
Right. And we're past the halfway point, obviously, but this is kind of seen as a restart or what have you. How would you assess what you went through in that first part of the season? Running the gauntlet of the 11 games in 20 days and not only surviving but thriving. Kind of what is your assessment of that as you now look ahead? Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something I can reflect back on, and I feel like I've grown so much, and I'm really proud of myself because I felt like those first 11 games in 20 days were like really difficult for myself because I expect so much of myself, and I wanted to be so good, not only for my teammates, and we were all trying to figure it out, and everybody expected us to be great, and then you're 1-8, and everybody's frustrated, and we're like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? But I think continuing to stay positive and to stay the course, I think it taught us all a lesson of being able to persevere and be resilient and show everybody that instant gratification isn't always, the greatest thing in the world, but that's always what everybody wants. And I think it's going to prepare us for these last 14 games, honestly. I think if we don't start 1-8, who knows, where we're going to be at the end of the year. I think we're in a great position in 7th place, but every single game is going to be important for us. And I think every single person on this team has learned a lot about themselves and what they need to bring to this team to help us be successful. And once we've figured that out, everybody sees like, all right, this franchise has so much potential. And for me, that's what gets me excited and want to come and work here every single day.
Last one, James.
Caitlin, you've been winning at every stage or every level of your life. And so when you look at this and you're in the thick of the playoff hunt, what's that chase like right now as a competitor?
Yeah, it gets you excited. I think if a lot of people at the beginning of the season, like we're 1-8, and if people thought we were going to go to the break at 7th place, a lot of people would have thought you were lying. I probably would have thought you were lying too. But we just came and continued to work. And once we found our groove, I think people just found confidence. And I think for a young group that, there's a lot of young players. I'm in my first year. AB's in her second. Liz in her third. We're playing a lot of people that don't have a ton of experience in this league and how this league works. Confidence is everything. Confidence is good for the group, and it's also contagious. So the more we've had of that, the better we've been. But like Christy said, like obviously playoffs is our goal. That's my goal for this team. But it has to be one game at a time. You can't get too ahead of yourself. That's how good every single team in this league is. Like, we lose to the Mystics at home, who have only won 6 games, and they're a really, really good basketball team. So that's just an example of you better come ready to play every single night because everybody's going to give you their best shot.